What's good, YouTube? It's your boy K Flex, and I'm back here with a preview video for the Miami Dolphins versus the Vikings. I don't get to make preview videos all the time anymore, but here I am with at least one more. Okay. Shout out to people who like this video before they even heard this sentence. Let's get into the video. Miami Dolphins versus the Vikings in what is going to be a humongous game. The 3-2 Dolphins are one game away from slipping to 500 after getting absolutely cheated versus the Jets. Won't keep on talking about the Jets game, even though it is on my mind heavily still to this very day. And if you saw the Thursday night game yesterday where Justin Fields got smacked about 30 times, could barely get up, then you will see that the Dolphins actually got cheated versus the Jets. That's not even no like bitter shit. That just actually happened. It's what happened. And then if you look at okay, and then so you get into this week, we have Skylar Thompson starting quarterback. That is the number one thing, which really probably puts our win percentages down because he's not ready for the league. Well, maybe he's ready, but he don't have enough reps for me to feel comfortable. I'd much rather have Teddy. Teddy is not going to play. He can't play because he didn't get that much practice this week because he was in concussion protocol for a concussion that he was found to have not had on Sunday. All right. So he's on, that's the rule. By the way, no other quarterback, no other player has to have dealt with this. Since this rule has been implemented, the only players that have to deal with this is the Miami Dolphins quarterback. Okay, that's it. Nobody else in the whole NFL, amongst no positions, have had to deal with what we've had to deal with. Okay, so it's interesting that the rule only really applies to one team. But anyways, Miami Dolphins, he can't play. Tua actually cleared concussion protocol as well, and is actually, he's in concussion protocol still. I don't think they've announced him as cleared, but he did practice in full today. He's almost headed to coming back. He probably should be coming back next week against the Steelers in primetime, which will be interesting to see how the politics play out now. When that's going to be super interesting because it'll be Tua versus Brian Flores, but also the last time Tua was in primetime, we quote unquote killed him. So that would be a very interesting dynamic to see exactly how the league plays and how the Dolphins play it, because that Tua should come back. It'll have been about 20-something days since the injury. So he should be back by then, unless obviously the politics of it all, and then you know how it goes. But anyways, let's talk a little bit about this video. So we playing the Vikings. The Vikings are a really excellent team, even though their numbers don't always show it. The Vikings are really good right now. The numbers are showing that they're 4-1. Okay, this is a very scary team. And listen, the Dolphins are really close to being 4-1. We damn near should be 4-1. But the Vikings are really good. They got Dalvin Cook, Jay Jettis, Kirk Cousins is not that great, but he's not that bad either, right? And our defense has been getting exposed recently. Now, we got good news that Xavier Howard is supposed to be playing. Said he would play. So Xavier Howard versus Jay Jettis, at least we have a chance, right? Even though, it's going to be interesting. I think Josh Boyer has a lot of questions to answer. I think, with Byron Jones kind of fucking us and not ever playing, it's kind of made it to where we don't have these two super great corners, so we can't just run cover 2-0. I mean, we can't just blitz everybody and have man coverage in the background and everybody just guard their man. Now we're in a situation where it's okay, players have shortcomings that's on the field right now. We kind of have to play defenses that require certain players to have help and certain players to, we kind of have to mix things up a lot more. We can't just run man blitz every single play like we used to, which is kind of forced Josh Boyer to kind of do a little bit more, which I have some confidence in him that he will be able to do. But the key to beating the Vikings, obviously, we'll have to stop Dalvin Cook and stop the run, stop the short passes, because I feel like a lot of our defense is predicated on not stopping the short passes, which is that bend but don't break. I feel like we give up so many passes to running backs, and stuff like that, because we just don't even not even that we can't guard them, that we're incapable of guarding them. It's just we don't even half the time try. I feel but again, if you let I guess Dalvin Cook get the ball in the open field a lot too many times, he's bound to break one, right? So you have to watch Dalvin, watch I don't know if Madison's playing, probably not this game, but you don't watch Dalvin, in the flats a lot. Obviously, Jettis, this is why you pay Xavier Howard this amount of money, is not to guard the bums of the league. You pay him this much to do something against Jay Jettis, who we know is going to get the targets, right? Who we know is going to get a billion targets, who we know is going to, demand the ball at a high volume, who we know is pretty unstoppable. So I'm not expecting Xavier Howard to hold him to 0 yards, but This is why he gets paid what he gets paid, though, right? These are the games where you're supposed to hold the guy. Interestingly enough, Xavier Howard ended up wanting more money because we got Byron Jones, and Byron Jones was making more money, but not doing nearly what Xavier Howard was doing. And now Byron Jones is not even playing. So I'm ready for Byron Jones to come back. I don't know what's going on with him. Week 6, he's still not back off an injury that happened last year. I don't even know when Byron Jones got injured anymore because it's been that long ago, and it wasn't even like an ACL or nothing. So I don't know what's up with him. But he needs to get his shit together. I don't know. I'm sure he doesn't want to be hurt. Anyways, Jay Jettis is almost unstoppable. They got Dalvin Cook on the defensive side of the ball. They got Harrison Smith, who's really good, and then they have at cornerback? Patrick Peterson. Got some decent pass rush. Also, they have Adam Thielen, and so they got a pretty solid team. I always thought the Vikings were supposed to be better than what they were. I always felt that way. But Kirk Cousins is susceptible to some meltdown, so let's hope he has a meltdown and we can win this game. Now, nobody believes in the Dolphins, which is definitely the situation you want to be in if you're the Dolphins. Nobody thinks we're going to win. For good reason, we have a third-string quarterback. And honestly, we're at home, and nobody thinks we're going to win. And I'm kind of glad, I'm actually very glad that nobody thinks we're going to win, because it seems like every game where we've been thought to win, we've lost. You got to think since week 1. I mean, we beat the Patriots. People thought we could win that one, but nobody thought we could beat the Ravens. We beat them. Nobody thought we could beat the Bills. We beat them. And then everybody was kind of like, oh, the Dolphins might be serious. And then we lose to the Bengals, obviously, without our starting quarterback. And then everybody's like, well, they could still beat the Jets with Teddy Bridgewater. And then we lose to the Jets. Technically, we lost to the Jets. I don't really count it because they cheated. Not the Jets. The Jets didn't do anything wrong. The NFL is terrible. So we lost to the Jets. But now everybody's kind of like, okay, yeah, the Dolphins are finished. So ideally, this is the situation I would like to be in. The people thinking the Dolphins are finished. Now, as far as our defense goes, our defense is going to have to show me something. I don't know what the numbers are saying about our defense, but I haven't really been liking it like that. I haven't been thinking our defense is that good this year. Maybe because I was spoiled with the years prior with us forcing turnovers and all those consecutive games and just doing so much crazy stuff. But I'm hoping our defense looks better. Offensively, Skylar Thompson, man, it's going to be the biggest question mark is what can he do and how mad can you get at him, because he's not really even supposed to be starting. He's a third-string quarterback. Really, I'm just mad at the NFL more than I'm mad at Skylar Thompson if he makes a mistake. But it's going to be interesting to see what Skylar Thompson can do, what kind of scheme Mike McDaniel could draw up for him. Obviously, this is not your starting quarterback. Hopefully, this will be the last game our starting quarterback misses, but this is not your starting quarterback here. You probably can't do everything you do with your starting quarterback. I think we drop a lot of deep shots, and in reality, teams are so focused on not letting us get the deep ball. Well, I think a lot of underneath stuff we could really do. I feel like so many teams are just worried about getting beat over the top, and they're making our quarterbacks are waiting, and then they're ending up in tough spots. Even with Skylar last week, so. Teron Armstead's still injured. We might see if he plays. There was a debate earlier in my head, earlier this week, of if we're starting Teddy, should we just tank the game? I mean, sorry, not Teddy, Skylar, because I was thinking Skylar sucked, but I was thinking if we're starting Skylar, should Teron Armstead just sit out off just the principle that we'll probably lose anyway, and there's no point of even trying to get injured more. But then I thought that goes against everything I've ever said. I've always been anti-tank. I've always been, and I've always been the guy that took every loss so serious, because I always know that we can be one game out of the playoffs. So unfortunately, there is no space to try to be okay, let's rest our great players because Skylar probably is going to hold us back. And also, Skylar doesn't get a fair chance that way, because then he just play with bums, and then he sucks, and everybody gets mad at Skylar and says he's not good whenever he didn't even get to play with the players he was supposed to play with. And also, it's just NFL is short season. It's not the NBA. You can't afford to rest anybody, so no, nobody should be rested. If they can. And most of the time, I'm happy with the young guy starting. In this situation, I'm not, because in this situation, it's not like in every single situation throughout my entire YouTube career. I've always been happy when the younger guy started, even when it was Josh Rosen, when it was who else? When I wanted to see Tua at first, when we had Fitz in, I think those are the only two of the young guys. I mean, there was times where I wanted to see Reed Sinnett, you know what I'm saying? But in this situation, it's different just because we already have our young guy who is Tua, who knows what's going on with that situation, but we already have our young guy, so it's it's not as fun to see Skylar play, because you already know, Skylar could throw 5 touchdowns. Do you be oh, Skylar's a starter? No, he's still going to come back and be the third string. So it's not a situation where it's he's like the future of the team or anything. I mean, he could be, but I'm not really like. I feel like that's a long shot. Yeah, I'm not really excited. I'd rather see Teddy revenge game versus the Vikings, but he can't play because the NFL decided to make it to where he couldn't practice all week with the concussion protocol when he didn't have a concussion. So that'll be interesting. But get a conversation. Know what you guys think about this game. What's the keys to winning? I think final score 20. Vikings 13. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we're going to score too many points, but I think we'll be able to maybe score a defensive touchdown, and we get a lot of stops on the Kirk Cousins and crew, and I think we can do well. All right, get in the comments what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. Happy weekend. I cannot wait till Sunday. Like, okay, Flexes, I'm out.